Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining me again. This is Richard L. Scott, the Black Christian Geek, and this would be a quick Windows tip. This video shouldn't be more than about 7 minutes long, but I want to cover the Windows clipboard. Clipboards are not unique to Windows in that you can access them on Linux and Mac just the same, but also on mobile devices like iOS, iPhones, iPads, and Android devices. But the unique thing about most clipboards by default, they only retain the last thing you clip. And if you pull up, you can see some of these other other reviewers talking about some clipboard options. If you stick around, I'll give you a bonus to an additional one you can get. But if you read here on Wikipedia, a clipboard manager is a computer program that adds functionality to an operating system's clipboard. Many clipboards provide only one buffer for the copy and paste function, and it is overwritten by each new copy operation. And I'll show you what that means. I copy this. So now if I want to paste that, I paste it. And you can basically see that it copied and pasted what I had selected. But what happens is if I undo that, inevitably some of us will copy something, and before we paste it, say we want to copy something else. I grab my logo and I say right click, I select copy. Now if I go back to my test document and paste, if you notice, it is only retaining the last thing I copied. So if I wanted that text, I would have to go back and copy and paste that all over again. So let me see if I can undo that, remove that. Now I'll show you what's so special about the Clipboard Manager that's built into Windows 10. If you press the Windows key V as in Victor, you see where it says Clipboard can't show history because there's nothing saved on it. And by default, the first time you do it, you have to turn it on. So when I say turn on, notice that be it text or picture, that it retain the last thing I copied on the clipboard. It copies over into the Clipboard Manager. So now if I were to go back to that original text that I had, and I'm just doing a Control C, likewise, you could do a right click and copy. Now that I've copied that, if I go Windows key V again, now you see that it has the text and the picture that I both copied. So if I go back to my test document, if I needed to paste both, whatever is at the top or was last copied, I can right click and paste. And then if I come down below that and say Windows key V, it brings up my Clipboard Manager, retaining everything that I've copied. And if I click my logo, there you have it. So now, I have the ability to copy and paste multiple items without losing one. And here's an additional trick. If you see here, you can come here and you can pin. And if you also happen to have copied, say, a password, we're just using this as an example, and I say Control C, or even if I cut it, if we go back and look, it still has it there. So if you happen to have copied one of your passwords and you don't want it to stay in your password manager, you can simply select delete to clear that out. So what's the bonus? The bonus is I've showed you the keyboard shortcut key, how to get to that. But you can also go, if you go to clipboard settings, excuse me, you could have turned it off and on from here, and you can also reset it and clear it completely. And you can select this, and it will automatically sync your clipboard copies between your Windows machine. Say if you got a Windows desktop and a Windows laptop. So I think that's a huge benefit to be able to copy back and forth between the two. And also there's an open source program called CopyQ. And I like using CopyQ. And one of the things I like about CopyQ is it runs on Windows, Linux, and they're still calling it OS 10, but it's actually the Mac OS now. Excuse me. So on different flavors of Linux, on the Mac operating system, as well as Windows. So if you choose to use CopyQ for your Clipboard Manager instead and get used to it, say if you have a personal Mac, but you use Windows at work, you can just get used to using CopyQ. So if you found these tips helpful or beneficial, I appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we're trying to get our content built up. So if you would share tips that you find beneficial that we provide for you with others, that'd be greatly appreciated. Again, I'm Richard L. Scott, the Black Christian Geek, and thank you so much for stopping by. God bless.